Happy Friday, everyone! We made it to Friday. Yay! So let's get to my low, my high, my act of kindness. Actually, let me fix this real quick. There, now I'm a bit more center. Well, what would constitute as my low, actually? I don't know, I guess yesterday seemed kind of slow. I mean, there was like a point in like the afternoon where like, oh, it's just been kind of, it was like, it felt kind of slow is what it was. And not in the best way. And the sad part is like a lot of stuff is going on. Just like, no matter how busy I ever was or doing stuff, like, time just, it felt like time was standing still. But honestly, that's really like the only nitpick I have because yesterday was a pretty solid day overall. I mean, I have to talk about what happened that was Hot Ones related yesterday, absolutely. I binge watched all of season 3 of Solar Opposites. Yeah, I've actually been like watching Solar Opposites like on the side. I talked about Solar Opposites before. I'll give a brief rundown of what season 3 was like in a minute. Actually, did I do my thoughts on season 2? I don't think I did. And my act of kindness was I ran a few errands for my grandmother. So, before I get into the thing I really want to talk about, yes, I have been binge watching Solar Opposites. Like, seriously, I binge watched that entire 3rd season. Like, I was done at like 10:45 last night. It was really late. I'm actually still pretty tired, but you know, it was worth it. I mean, kudos to sport. I mean, this part we're gonna get into spoilers, but it ended on a technical cliffhanger, which makes it the second show I've seen in the span of 2 weeks that ended its season on a particular cliffhanger, which, again, kudos to that. Especially, I mean, last week it was the Cuphead show. This week it's Solar Opposites. I mean, I'm a big I really don't care for when something ends on a cliffhanger, but that's really only if we're guaranteed to never get anything ever again. I hate it when the conclusion of something is always left up to the ambiguity of the audience. I hate that so much because let's say that years down, like let's say I come up with an answer for what happens next, and years down, like I'm determined to believe like that's what wound up happening, and then it's revealed later that I was completely wrong. I would hate that so much. But I mean, I'm pretty sure Solar Opposites is getting a 4th season. It should. I mean, it's made by, one of the co-creators of that show is Justin Roiland, who, if you don't know, is one of the co-creators of Rick and Morty. And Rick and Morty, despite having been in a bit of a slump in terms of quality, it's still a really popular show that a lot of people really like. I'll admit, I do like Rick and Morty, but not to the degree. I mean, I'll watch it, and I have caught up with everything Rick and Morty related. But, and if you've been a long time viewer, you would know this. When I first, my first legit introduction to Rick and Morty was in 2017, when, if you are part of my generation and you grew up with Samurai Jack, and Samurai Jack came back for a final season because it was premiering on Saturday nights on on Toonami, right? I'm looking forward to watching Samurai Jack, and they show the season premiere of season 3 of Rick and Morty that night. And they did that for the entire night. So, you took away Samurai Jack for this. I mean, don't get me wrong, I ultimately saw the ending. One of these days I really should talk about my overall thoughts on Samurai Jack. I mean, I'll do that another time. I mean, I gotta say to my, it really will be another time from now because I really do have to prepare for tomorrow's video. I know, can you believe it? I have to do the state of my being. I have to do the state of my being address tomorrow. That is okay. I'm not gonna lie. I'll tell you this tomorrow, anyway. But it didn't really have as strong of a finish as I would have liked. I'll leave it at that. Where was I? Right. I was gonna get to talking about Hot Ones. But Nick, the Hot Ones, season 18 is over. Yeah, but they have some occasional videos that they do. Like last week, the Impractical Jokers did Truth or Dab. And this week, and I can't believe I really haven't talked about this myself, but there is a chip brand called Paqui, and they have what's called the One Chip Challenge. It's a tortilla chip that is so incredibly spicy that, it's like covered in like Carolina Reaper dust and stuff. It's a very, very hot tortilla chip. And it just destroys literally anyone who has it. Now, the good folks over First Week Feast and Hot Ones are no strangers to doing the One Chip Challenge. Sean Evans has done it several times in the past with several guests. One particular that comes to mind is Lil Yachty, which, technically he did a little bit better than when Lil Yachty was on Hot Ones in person. Remember, this was during the pandemic, so they had to do it over Zoom. And because Paqui releases like some new version of the One Chip. It's the One Chip Challenge. How do you make it different? It's just a really hot tortilla chip. You would think that all you gotta do is here's the thing. Like, once you have the chip, you have to go for however long you can without any kind of, soothing relief, for milk or ice cream or water or any of those things. Actually, I don't know if you would actually use water. Like, milk or ice cream is what most people tend to use, just simply because, like, the proteins in milk sort of trap the capsaicin or something. I forget how it works. But if you can hold out for like less than a minute, you're powerless. If you can go for longer than 10 minutes, you're powerful. If you go for half hour, you're supercharged, I think is what it is. And if you go an entire hour, then you're invincible. Now, full disclosure, I have seen the Paqui One Chip Challenge, and I have thought about doing that for a video. I really have. But that's a video I kind of want to save for something special. Like, I will do it eventually. I do want to do it. But, full disclosure, I want to save that video for something later. But rest assured, one day that video will come. Don't worry, it won't be that long from now. Well, maybe, I don't know. But I will do it. And here's the thing. I do like spicy food, so I would do it regardless. But I want to get a few things set up before I actually try to attempt it. Foremost, where on earth can you get the pack? I've seen the pack. Like, sometimes I've seen the Paqui One Chip Challenge in like big grocery stores like Wegmans before. I've seen the Paqui brand of tortilla chips in gas stations, but have I seen the One Chip Challenge? I think I've seen the One Chip Challenge in gas stations before. Like, it's just like on the shelf of a gas station. I'm like, really? It's in here now too? And here's the real cool thing about the 2022 version of the Paqui One Chip Challenge. It turns your tongue blue. there's some symbolism regarding that. I do know that blue fire is about as hot as fire gets. That's like naturally occurring. So there's that. I guess the blue tongue is also supposed to signify that you actually did it. Because, I mean, you really could just say you took the one chip challenge and, like, completely lie about it. I think the blue tongue is supposed to be like, okay, you did it. We're not going to argue with that. Because not many things can actually turn your tongue blue. Like, the only thing that legit comes to mind when it comes to things that can turn your tongue blue are, like, popsicles. Or Freezy Pops. Yeah, you know the Freezy Pops are coming like clear plastic tubes that you put in the freezer, and like they get hard like ice, and then you take like scissors and cut the top of the tube off, and you eat the flavored ice in there. Oh, those are so good. Freezy Pops are amazing, dude. I love those. Like, I mean, then again, you guys know me. I love me some frozen treats. You know, give me Rita's Italian Ice. Give me ice cream. Give me the Freezy Pops, man. I will eat that stuff like, well, actually, in a way, it's sweet like candy. So yeah, I would eat like candy. I love that stuff, man. It's awesome. Although, as long as I'm on the subject of frozen treats, I would like to point out, literally one of my all-time favorite frozen treats ever, and I know a lot of people out there know what this is, are firecrackers. If you don't know what firecrackers are, they're like the popsicles where like it's like red, white, and blue. You know, red, white, blue, and red is cherry, yellow is supposed to be like lemon, and blue is like blue raspberry. Which blue raspberries are a real thing. They're called white bark raspberries. They do exist. Look them up, okay? And like just 3 flavors in one popsicle. And like growing up, because the first time I had this, it was like, I think I was like 2nd or 3rd grade. Like, this is a pretty substantially good sized popsicle. It was good popsicle too, man. Oh, they were good. They were really good. I mean, I'm a frozen treats junkie, so you know, you give me like something like those, that is awesome. But you know, again, frozen treats. I am a lover of all frozen treats, including Freezy Pops. Anyway, so of course, I talk about a show regarding hot ones. I talk about something that could potentially soothe you from the pain of the Paqui One Chip challenge. Anyway, so the Paqui One Chip challenge, it turns your tongue blue, and they didn't just get any guest for this episode. They got Tony Hawk. Now, if you don't know who Tony Hawk is, don't worry, I'll be nice. I'm not gonna say, "Oh, you're not very smart if you don't know who Tony." Like, don't worry, I'll be kind. I'll tell you, Tony Hawk is the GOAT of skateboarding. He is the Tom Brady of skateboarding. He is the Michael Jordan of skateboarding. He is so good, in fact, that, let me put this into perspective. Skateboarding has only just been recognized as an Olympic sport in the past Olympics that we had. If it was recognized as an Olympic sport when Tony Hawk was starting out, he'd have more medals than Michael Phelps. You're probably wondering, how is that possible? Well, because, you know, Michael Phelps is like, what? I think he has like 20 medals, gold medals. It's like close, he either has close to 20 gold medals or like 21 or something. He has a lot of gold medals, right? Here's the thing. Michael Phelps just recently retired. I think he was like in his early to mid 30s when he retired. Tony Hawk is 54 years old as of right now. And he is still skateboarding at an incredibly high level. I mean, this is the guy who pioneered the 900. That's a sort of skateboarding trick that you do. And with the Olympic, because there'd be like, because let's see, if with skateboarding, I'm sure there'd be like half pipe, freestyle, maybe they'll be like racing, like between all sorts of ways you can manipulate skateboarding into an Olympic event or several Olympic events. And considering that Tony Hawk, even to this day, is still skateboarding at an incredibly high level, I really do think he'd have more medals than Michael Phelps if it was an Olympic sport back in the day. So that's just my 2 cents. And I can't talk about Tony Hawk without talking about arguably one of the greatest video games of all time, which is like Tony Hawk's Pro Skate. With especially, I think Pro Skater 2 was supposed to be like the best one or something. And I mean, I never really played any of the skateboard. I don't know anything about skateboarding. I've never ridden on a skateboard. I'm a loser like that. But you better believe I know who Tony Hawk is. You better believe I know of the presence that Tony Hawk brings to a room. Yes, a guy who's known for skateboarding of all things can bring that sort of level of presence where if he's around, you pay attention and you listen to whatever he has to say. I said he was the Tom Brady of skateboarding. He is. No one will ever dispute that. Like, you put him in. I've never actually done a GOAT Mount Rushmore before. And I don't know if I ever will. Just simply because there's just so many like variables you'd have to consider. But I wouldn't be surprised if other people did come out with a GOAT Mount Rushmore. They would put Tony Hawk on there. But again, that's just my 2 cents on the matter. And Tony Hawk still proved he's the man because he and Sean Evans made it 5 minutes doing the Paqui One Chip challenge. So, yeah, technically, according to the One Chip challenge, they are, quote-unquote, powerless. But think of it this way. Sean Evans has done it enough times where he doesn't really care anymore. And Tony Hawk is Tony Hawk, so not being able to do the One Chip challenge isn't going to really hurt his reputation. Like, if anyone had if anyone had to worry about their reputation being in jeopardy because they were powerless in the Paqui One Chip challenge, it really would be somebody like me. Because I am not famous or anything to that degree. Like, if anyone would have to worry, it's yours truly. But, again, that's just me. All in all, it was great seeing the Paqui One Chip challenge on Hot Ones again. You know, it was really great seeing Tony Hawk again. I mean, yeah, Tony Hawk is the man. Everyone knows that. But, you know, it's Tony Hawk. When you think of skateboarding, that man is who you think of. And it's not even close. I mean, Tony Hawk's greatness will maybe imitated, but it's never going to be duplicated. And as Forrest Gump would say, that's all I have to say about that. So I hope y'all liked this video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It would do my YouTube channel greatly. Follow me on social media. As always, I am very humbled to make this video for all of you guys who are watching Joe today. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Friday. And remember, if any of you guys want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here to London, and I'll always be back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.